Welcome back to Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rake Your Position, where four lifelong friends are living out their dream from the comfort of the chairs, and our agenda is going crazy right now. I am Aaron, the host.
And I'm Joe, the groundskeeper.
Jaylee, the rover.
And I'm Corey, the stat man, and somebody has to try and keep this thing on the track, okay?
I'm waiting still for Joe did nothing. You literally have Cart behind you. Like there's a Carpe Diem joke in there or something.
Well, this is just proof for everyone to think that we have this planned
Yeah,
way
you know
before
what
we
they say.
actually get on a pod.
You know what
No,
they
this
say
is
about
live.
standing on the tracks.
This is live.
You can't stand on the tracks when the train's coming through.
Who's the
You
train?
can.
Who's the train?
Who's the tracks? That's the better question.
I don't know.
All right.
They're both
with that,
good questions.
with that being said, tonight is going to be a little bit of news, and then we're going to have a lot of fun talking trade talks. We got some names we want to banter about and do some more predictions, because it's a lot of fun during the off season before the hot stove
And we're
gets
so
cooking.
good at it.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't missed one yet, guys. So far we're batting at 0.
Not today.
But with that being said, after this episode, our next episode is going to be one of our off-season fun ones. We're going to be talking baseball movies. So
I think
join us.
It's the only reason we started a pod was to do this next episode.
We've been talking about this next episode for the last 33 episodes or 32 episodes. So
30 years.
what are we on? Yes, 30 years. That's about right.
That too.
So we're going to have some news today, guys, for you. So kick us off with some manager news. Will be Mr. Rover.
Well, I mean, I don't even have to say anything. These are such big names that they just grab the headlines, and I mean, we just expect these names to be who you want your coach to be with. Actually, hang on. I have to look at the agenda to get the names again. That's how big these names are. Oh, that's right. We just promoted bench coaches. That's what we did here. Got it. Okay. So yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is how groundbreaking is for me. Joe Espada is the Astros manager. Is that correct?
Yep. Joseph. Yep.
Yep. Well, we'll go with it, Joe. And then Pat Murphy for the Brewers.
Patrick.
I mean, who got this one right? I feel like someone had to guess these on here. I feel like it was probably Joe. I mean, he's just got the inside knowledge and inside scoop on everything. So, Joe, you had these two right? Is that right?
Well, I never said their names, but yes, that's who I had going there. You know,
Gotcha.
this is going to be wildly off the wall, but it just came to my head, so I have to say it. So first I saw Joe Espada, right? Okay. This is so wild. So who here has seen the original Karate Kid? I mean, like 1983.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like the song on there that gets you pumped up is called "You're the Best Around." It's sung by Joe Esposito. Listeners,
bring you down.
go look it up. That man
Jared's got it for us. All right.
That was in key, actually, I think. And then I see Pat Murphy gets promoted to the manager of the Brewers. Pat Morita played Mr. Miyagi. I feel like there's a time, like a wormhole time loop or something going on.
Two people with very common names, Joe and Pat.
Who would have thought?
So that's what I saw when I saw these names. But I'll also say, we'll see if it's successful, but I like that they're internal hires. I feel like the players probably I assume that it's internal hires, unless they don't like it, obviously. But
that would
big
be
names.
the other option.
Yes.
What
You either like it or you don't.
Who cares about a big name manager? If you got a guy on your team already who's going to have a little bit of continuity, and did I say that word right?
Continuity.
Continuity. That ain't how you say that word. So yeah, I mean, do I know these guys? No, but I'm glad they looked internally, found somebody they liked, and promoted them.
It's funny you mentioned the big names. My mom actually texted me and it's like, I can't believe the Brewers promoted Pat Murphy as the
She
manager.
texted me as well.
Yeah.
My mom did too, but it was Pat Morita.
You guys just exchange pictures of Mr. Miyagi back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
man.
like I feel like these two bench coaches got two very different ends of the stick. Obviously, like I think Espada is. I just about said Joe Esposito because of all that baloney. Joe Espada, like I could see him, staying on to try and keep what the Astros have going, and then I almost feel like Pat Murphy's kind of the lame duck hire of like, we'll promote you, and then when our team gets good, we'll try and find somebody that we actually want to manage this team. Which, I mean, we see some of these guys like Rob Thompson whenever he took over for the Phillies. It didn't seem like he was maybe quite the fit, but they seem to be doing pretty well under him.
Yeah, it's worked out.
Yeah. So it's, we'll see how it plays out. Maybe Pat Murphy will be surprising. It sounded like people weren't that surprised that he got the job, but it's just not a name that anybody knew. But I don't know. You can't say much more about this unless you have something.
We
here.
mentioned last week that Espada had gotten a lot of interviews a couple years ago. I don't know if that was last year or 2 years ago. And we weren't even sure if he was still in the Astros. So good for him. They got the job. Yeah, I think you're right. Pat Murphy. I've honestly never heard of that guy. So sorry, Pat. But hey, he gets some experience on a team that's probably going to be blowing it up. Or they're going to be retooling some. So that leaves just the Padres, which who knows if that's a desirable job right now with all the stuff that's going on there. They've got the big ticket names. They have the big payroll, but unfortunately their owner just passed away. And then talk of them being over budget, expecting to make the playoffs and not making the playoffs. Soto is in the trade talks. There's a lot of question marks, a lot of uncertainty around that franchise. But still, it's got to be a good team to manage. So a lot of internal candidates there as well. So we'll see who ends up there. The next thing we want to talk about is just revisiting the qualifying offers. We mentioned this last week that there were 7 on the table. 6 of them in our minds were slam dunks. Those guys are going to get bigger deals. And free agency, they're going to decline those. The one that we weren't so sure about was Matt Chapman, if he would run it back one more year in Toronto, try to be more consistent with his offense before re-entering free agency. But at the same time, the hitters side of the free agency market is pretty thin, and Chapman stands out as one of the better options at any position, but definitely the best at third base. So he also declined. So all 7 of the guys declined, which means if you're unfamiliar with qualifying offers, those teams that lose those 7 guys will get a compensation pick, and the teams that sign those guys will get a pick taken from them. However, they're all stars to superstars, and so it's worth it to lock one of them up to a long-term contract and lose a pick. So I don't think it'll hurt these guys any, looking at who they are, their markets, and the prices that are being thrown around for all of them. So I don't know if there's much else to discuss there. If anybody's got any other thoughts about the qualifying offers.
Not really. I mean, I think you hit it. They will all almost certainly get more money, maybe a little less per year than the $20 million that was the qualifying offer. But I think in the long run, they'll have the security of multiple years and a total amount of money more. But yeah, not a lot of exciting news. Joe?
Has the does this play any into this doesn't play any into the compensatory, I hope I'm saying that word right, picks, does it?
It's a
that
continuity picks. What?
Yeah, so there's
I mean, there's some like, okay, you lost a bunch of good players. Here's a pick, and you're a small market team. Here's a pick,
yes.
Right?
Yeah,
but that doesn't play into the qualifying offer at all.
There's supplemental, which I think is the qualifying offer. So you get like if you sign. So the rules for the qualifying offer are very complicated, and it's based on where you're at in the luxury tax. If you're under it, over it, where you're at, and that means like, so if somebody signs your guy. If you're a big market team and you offer a guy a qualifying offer and then somebody signs him, you will get a pick after the 4th round. And I think that's a supplemental. And then I think compensatory is small market. And that's just like if you are, I don't know, in the bottom 25% or whatever, you just get extra picks. And those I may hit those back, but there are two separate things of like small market teams just get some extra picks, and then some teams get picks from the qualifying offer.
And somehow the Cardinals have been getting those
Mhm.
comp picks, which I don't understand. They're always number 2 in attendance every year.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure all the rules on those. But it's got
that's
something to do with
small
media
market.
markets.
Maybe that's for a later episode or something closer to the draft.
Yeah.
We can look at that.
Dive into that more. So Corey's
Speaking
got
of
our
the
next.
draft,
Go
real
ahead.
quick, I just wanted, speaking of the draft, I wanted to let all the GMs know I will be entering.
Yeah, still draft eligible.
Thanks. Yeah.
Or
So
you might just be a free agent at this point.
yeah, I think that might be it. You're an undrafted free agent.
I mean, yeah, either or. I'll take either.
No, try to get drafted.
Go to the combine. Football combine, baseball combine. We don't really care. Just go to a combine. Not one of
A
the field
combine.
though. Yeah. But there was some.
Speaking of combine, sorry, I'm going to
Gosh.
check out. So
yes,
in research for our next episode, I was watching Major League. So Joe, this is how you get in, man. If you remember that Willie Mays Hayes is sleeping on a cot, or he sneaks in, just says his name. The coach just says whatever, gives him a cot in the bunkhouse, and then they realize he snuck in. So they take his cot, put it outside, and the next morning he hears them going through drills. And so he just jumps the fence off his cot and just in his PJs jumps in the sprint line, and he blows everybody away. So that's what you need to do. You just need to figure out where a spring training is, and then you just jump the outfield fence and just act like you belong. I'd recommend getting a uniform, not doing it in your PJs. But you just act like you belong and just wait to see if anybody kicks you out. They're like, this guy's so good.
I need 30 seconds, whatever drill it was. That's it.
There you go. So you just act like you're supposed to be there, and
There,
nobody will say nothing.
there is every few years open tryouts for the Gateway Grizzlies here in Sanjay. If you guys want to come try that out. I also thought about going to umpire school as part of the podcast. Like we all go to umpire school. What was that, Joe?
I would not accept that. I'm holding out for a MLB.
That's too
Okay.
low. Joe's up here.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to what's on the agenda here. There was some beef. Wendy's always asks, "Where's the beef?" We found it. It's in New York with the Yankees, between Brian Cashman and Giancarlo Stanton. And it's I don't know what Brian Cashman's doing. I don't know why. Like Brian Cashman,
He's an angry elf this offseason.
and I don't know what has he done lately that, like, I don't like to say, if George was still around, but like Cashman would be long gone. Like he hasn't done anything for a long time, but Cashman there's a GM meetings which turned into the GI meetings because they got canceled early because people were getting sick.
I miss that.
Yeah. But he was I think he had a press conference, and he was basically, there's a couple different quotes that he said in regards to Giancarlo Stanton specifically. I'll just pick the last sentence out of the first one here. He's going to wind up getting hurt again, more likely than not, because it seems to be part of his game. Ouch. And then the second
It's not wrong, but
it's not. You don't say that about your own player. You're like, I know he's going to get hurt, so it just seems to be his game. He needs some time off. And then the second one is, I know that when he's right and healthy, other than this past year, the guy's a great hitter and has been for a long time.
I missed that one.
You've been great, except last year. And so Giancarlo, I don't think he specifically said anything, but his agent came out. And basically, here's his quote is, I think it's a good reminder for all free agents considering signing in New York, both foreign and domestic, that to play for that team, you've got to be made of Teflon, both mentally and physically, because you can never let your guard down, even in the offseason. Which is fair. Like, I think, sure, Giancarlo didn't have a great season last year, but that's last year now. Like, pump him up, get him ready.
Yeah, you want ready to go next
season. And like, move on, Cashman. Like, get over yourself. I don't know. Like, just what a roller coaster ride 2
Yeah.
weeks into the offseason where a GM and his agent, which it's interesting because this guy is an agent for other people. I think specifically one of the guys they mentioned was Yamamoto coming over.
Yep.
So it's like, and I think the Yankees are interested in Yamamoto. Like they've had pretty good luck
Yep.
with Japanese pitchers, and it's like, okay, good luck. But I don't know. It's a bad look, I think, for Cashman specifically, and the Yankees, and like, I guess maybe if I think he's had a good reputation, but lately, I don't think it's going great, and I think this is just making it even worse for him. But I don't know if you guys have some thoughts on kind of whatever's happening in this dynamic, but take your pick.
I think if there's one guy of an organization you expect to be PC 100% of the time, it's probably the GM. You know, there's some. I mean, the owners own the team. They're not gonna get in trouble unless they do something really stupid. Players are players, coaches are coaches, and you hear some things out of them sometimes.
GMs are
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. But I mean, the GM is usually the most PC and we're thinking about next game type of speech you always get. So it's kind of interesting to see, and it's stupid, I think, but it'll be forgotten about, I think, in a week. I don't think it's going to affect the Yankees' ability to sign anybody. Everybody still wants to play for these Yankees. So I don't think it's something that'll linger. They'll either trade him or bury it and move on, but it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, he's been there. I just looked this up. He's been there since '98. It's 25 years as a GM. You've never heard him do anything like this beforehand. And he was also having beef with Aaron Judge about some strategies and stuff like that at the end of the year, which is interesting. But yeah, I think the biggest thing to keep an eye on is Yamamoto has the same agent, like you said. And I'm just looking this up. Joel Wolf of the Wasserman Group is the guy's name. He also represents Kodai Senga and Edwin Diaz, and you know where they're at. The other New York team. So I don't know. Like you do see agents and GMs or team owners relationships impact stuff. I was reading the other day, like the Braves don't have a single Scott Boras client. But then you look at like the Nationals, they have multiple Scott Boras clients and have always had Scott Boras clients because he's good. He gets along well with the owner of the Nationals, not even necessarily the GM, but the owner always steps in with like Harper and Strasburg and those guys, big contracts. Where the Braves, for example, stay away from those guys. So GM relationships with agents is kind of a big deal. So I think that's the interesting thing to keep an eye on is, and we may never know behind the scenes. They're not going to say Yamamoto didn't sign with them because of Cashman, but it ain't going to help you any.
Yeah, I'm cool with him saying it. I think he's speaking for all of the majority of the MLB, if I'm being honest. Like, Giancarlo was there to be Giancarlo of Miami, and he hasn't, and he's been hurt. And again, I'm sure not all of that is on purpose, of course, but I do think there's some times where Giancarlo hasn't shown thick skin. And I mean, it's New York. Like,
Yep.
You're either going to be a hero one day, and the next day you're going to go 0 for 4, and the city's going to hate you.
And he kind of chose to go there with his no trade rights because the deal in St. Louis was done, right? And he said no. And then he said no to the Giants, so they just shut that down. Like he wanted to go to the Yankees, and you got to know that scrutiny comes thick and heavy up there. But it is strange. Like clearly, he's a better physical specimen than I've ever been, and yet he's and he's hurt all the time.
Clearest thing I've ever seen.
He's hurt all the time. I don't get it, man. Like, is he too good a shape? Like Babe Ruth didn't pull muscles. I mean, he didn't have them, so couldn't pull them. So, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he still hits them, but the missiles he hits to like all parts of the field are just awesome to see because you don't see a lot of people doing that. So, I mean, I hope the guy gets healthy, but if the best predictor of future is past example, it's probably not going to happen.
That rolled right off the tongue.
Oh yeah, you got it. Why don't you segue us into the
Hey,
trades after that beauty
well,
of
real
the
quick,
line?
real quick. You
We have
said
4 things on the agenda, and we interject 12 new ones as the episode goes. I love it.
yeah, this one's quick. I think you'll either know it or you won't.
Okay, yep.
Those
You got
coaches
it.
coach.
You said he was also having beef with Aaron Judge. Do you know what cut of the cow that was?
Probably a ribeye.
Ribeye,
Or maybe a New York strip.
New York strip.
Nice. Well done.
I'm
I was
not
thinking
even-
I
I'm
was
not
singing a
even-
Tommy Boy quote.
Not even entertaining that.
You get a look at the T-bone by sticking your head up. Oh,
No,
Beep.
it's your okay.
or you
So
take the
on to
butcher's
the-
word for it.
I'll do the trade. The trade. What do we call it? What do we call the trading field? The trade rumors? The trade
Rumors works.
rumors. So
The hot stove.
Well, can we call it the lukewarm stove at the moment?
The tepid stove.
The preheated stove that's
The
just
easy
on
bake oven.
120 right now.
There you go. Perfect.
Well, we picked
Easy
some
bake
big
trades.
names that are definitely floating around. We picked 5 of them. You know, there'll be a lot more trades in that, but we were just trying to focus on some of the big names that are most likely going to go. Kind of maybe not get too in depth, but maybe see where we think they'll go, if they're going to go anywhere. So the first one we have here is Corbin Burns from Arizona, who I believe is a free agent after this season.
Milwaukee.
What did I say? Arizona. God, that's where I have him going.
Blew the lead, man.
Man.
Oh man.
Okay, well, I'll start it off here with Corbin Burns from Milwaukee. I have him being traded to Arizona.
Arizona, no way. No way.
I looked right at my paper and just read the whole line. Anyway, wow.
Sounds good.
I kind of lulled at their I mean they have a good probably 1-2, but they could use somebody better behind that. So I got him making a trade for a pitcher. You know, if you look at Corbin's stats, he is downsliding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be interested in seeing what his velocity's doing, because wow, has he really taken a step back from his peak of 3 or 4 years ago? So I wonder if maybe that's just 1 step back to 2 steps forward, or if his arm's getting old quick, because I think he's still not 30 yet, is he? In his 20s.
He's 29. Don't see when his birthday is though.
So we'll see what happens there, but surprise, surprise, I got him going to Arizona. Surprise, surprise. Let me look at our agenda and see who's next, so I can throw it over to them. I have a big old thing. Aaron, who did you have, if anybody, Corbin going to?
All right. I do have him being traded. I'm looking at his baseball savant as you were talking about that. Still
He's
a lot of
couple
red.
miles down.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
velo's down, but he avoids hard contact. Everything else looks nice.
Great hair.
Great hair. And for that reason, I have him going to the Braves. AA has been
Ooh.
excellent at trades. Like last year, he trades for Sean Murphy. We don't even need a catcher. Year before that, trade for Matt Olson. Year before that, trade for Duvall, Rosario, and Soler. AA is great at getting these trades done when you don't think the Braves are really in the market, and bam, he gets them. I had them snagging multiple free agent pitchers, but I think trades are more realistic, and they're definitely going to add 1 frontline starter. So I think a 1-year deal and a trade is more up AA's alley as opposed to a big time free agent contract.
Do you think because he's a rental that the Braves have enough stuff to get him? Like they're pretty weak in the farm.
We got 2 stud AAA pitchers,
Stud.
Smith Shaver and Hurston Waldrip. I think one of them paired with Vaughn Grissom probably gets it done. I mean, Vaughn hit 330 in AAA last year.
All right. I have him going to the Minnesota Twins. I think that they have the window open in that division to win it for a while. They got Correa. They got other good pitchers, Pablo Lopez. They likely lose Sonny Gray. I think you bring a guy like Corbin Burns in, if it is not that much to get him for a trade, that he pops into that rotation. They've got the pieces on offense that are pretty good. So whether or not the Twins didn't do anything at the deadline. I hope they do something now, because they.
And Corbin would not have to move very far.
It's
No.
true.
They got that Austin Martin too, a nice prospect that's kind of blocked
Mhm.
with Boyce Lewis.
Yep.
Arriving.
Jared.
You guys are all wrong. He's staying in the NL, going to the Dodgers.
Okay, started writing Cardinals.
Nope. Nah. Just the Brewers would never trade him to the Cardinals. I think there's a lot of question marks around the Dodgers rotation, so I think this is a perfect guy for them to go grab. And they got some pieces to wheel and deal for what the Brewers I think are looking to do with what we talked about blowing it up. So I got him going to the Dodgers.
All right.
I like all those picks, guys. All great picks. All right, so that takes us maybe to the best hitter that's probably getting traded. A lot of talk about it. He also has one more deal,
Colorado?
and that is Mr. Juan Soto out in San Diego.
Everybody grab their crotch.
If that's not the title of this podcast, I'm quitting.
I mean, if you're listening to this podcast and have never watched Juan Soto play, you
I
have no
apologize.
idea that just came out of left field. But yeah, he's one of the best hitters of this generation. Could help any team. And so I was looking for a contender that could use the extra bat. And so I've actually got him going to Seattle. Seattle lost Hernandez, Teoscar. They could use a corner outfielder and DH help. Soto could do either spot for 1 year, and Dombrowski loves to trade. So I think there's something there.
Aaron, it's a great pick. It's so great. It's the pick that I had as well. I got Juan Soto to the Seattle Mariners because right now on their depth chart they have Dylan Moore in left field, and I think he will complement Julio Rodriguez immensely. And they've got pitching. They're a team that does need the hitting. So yes, Juan Soto to the Seattle Mariners.
Matt, you smart, Corey. You smart.
Thanks. I know. You're okay sometimes. Jared?
This is crazy, guys, because I also didn't pick them. He's actually not going. He's not going anywhere. I think the Padres are still too crazy of like, we're not going to blow this team up and want to win, and they're not going to end up making a move, which they should. But I believe he will be staying in San Diego for this year and then sign elsewhere after the season.
I thought maybe they would hold him until the trade deadline. I don't know how much that hurts your return. I guess you're maybe banking on. He had a pretty good year last year, but maybe you're banking on he's going to try harder in a free agent year. I don't know. But I think I saw a report. I don't know if it was Olney or one of those big name guys that somebody said 100% he's traded before the season starts. So that is when I wrote down. Let me get this close to the camera. I don't want you to think I'm jumping on a bandwagon here because I don't trust these guys for nothing. Can you see that?
Feel the dream?
to the Mariners.
All
right.
I also had him going to the Mariners. They got cost controlled pitching. That's not their issue at all. They're in a tough division. Need to make a splash. I don't know if you sign him long term, but get him for a year and make a run.
Man,
Wow.
Joe, you're smart too.
Great job, guys. Next on the list, and maybe the least costly as far as trade chips, is the Reds' current kind of second baseman, Jonathan India, who's had I think, a fine career so far, but the influx of Reds players has kind of pushed him out of a job. I think there's an obvious spot for him to go, and that is the Toronto Blue Jays, who have had a kind of carousel of second basemen that have not done super great. Santiago Espinal had a 630 OPS this past year. Calvin Biggio is not maybe turned into the
Not his
person
dad.
that they. Oh, yeah. Oops, I'm gonna write his own name. Uh, the guy that they hoped he would be. So I think you get India over there to solidify that second base position, and the rest of that team's already pretty good. So
I'm going with your guys' previous pick. I'm going Seattle. I think the Reds and Mariners have made a bunch of deals in the past. I think India is a, a guy that can solidify that second base spot for Seattle going forward. So I can see that happen.
You want to talk about a dearth? Corey, can I get a definition of dearth?
I'm not a words guy, but I'll do my best here.
Don't be googling it. Just shoot off the top of your
Yeah.
hip.
You can't throw words at the stat guy. You gotta throw numbers.
I have no
Jay
idea
Lee,
what dearth
Jay Lee,
means.
give me a definition of dearth.
Not all there.
I'm
Okay.
honestly looking at the four faces on my screen. I'm like, who is our word guy? I don't know that we have one. And then I got to thinking, what do we do for our jobs? And I'm the one that
You.
talks for a living, and I am not good with the words. So
I mean, I'm married to an English teacher. Does that count?
that's closer than
Oh,
But you're usually
okay,
the
I'm
fashion.
actually-
You're the fashion guy.
It's fair.
So you,
Okay, so the definition from Oxford Dictionary of dearth is a scarcity or lack of something. And where I was going with this is,
Hey,
if
dude,
you
I
want
said
to-
not all there.
your wife is
that's
smart,
close
Jared.
enough.
Thank you.
So if you want, what team had a wildly lack of production at second base?
Toronto,
probably several.
Seattle.
Probably several.
Okay.
And
Probably.
Jonathan India, I mean, he was
Who's to
rookie of the
say?
year, but that rookie class was pretty weak. He's solid enough, definitely better than everybody who played here last year. Mostly Colton Wong fielded this position. I think OPS like 400. So I also have him going to Seattle. That makes Soto and India going to Seattle.
Golly.
You know, again, they're making moves. They're running for it. So Seattle.
Oh man, I
You have
had Seattle and I scratched it out earlier today. That's the chicken scratch right there. Because I thought there's no way to get both these guys, but they do. They need both. But I end up going San Fran. Looking at San Fran's roster, they need to do something, but I didn't have them going all in on the free agent guys like some of you guys did. Their second baseman right now is Tyro Estrada, who's probably best served as super utility. And then they have two young shortstops backing him up. So India at second could bounce around the infield a little bit if those young guys do develop into better defenders. Because India's not a good defender, but he can keep the spot warm. And he won't cost much, I don't think, to get.
All right, Jared, take us into numero 40. That was,
Pete Alonso.
yeah.
I never really liked this guy for the record, but
No,
so I guess that's yeah.
You
Just
say
put
you
that in
don't?
yeah. So I guess just put that in my where he's giving traded. I don't like this guy. I don't have him going anywhere. I think he stays in New York. I think he's a fan favorite, and I mean they claim they're what, a year away from being contenders again. Is that right, Cooney? It's your division.
Yeah, that's what
right?
they've said, which he's a free agent after this year. So that's why it's interesting that they said it that way.
Yeah, so I think they signed him to an extension to keep him through if it's that quick of a rebuild. So I think he finds a way to stay in New York.
I could see that happening. Yeah. But I did a solid 3 to 5 minutes research, and I had him going. I was on the Minnesota Twins, and their first baseman production was awful, especially considering, you know, a lot of times that's one of your power positions where you're just like, hey, hit a homer or strike out. And they couldn't even really do any of those. So I have him going to the Twins. I don't know if that's the best fit, but I mean it's definitely way more production than what they got last year. I'm sure they want to win the division again. So, they'll make a move here, guaranteed, 100%.
I was leaning heavy towards staying with the Mets. He is a fan favorite up there. They need some goodwill, but it just seems like they're retooling with a young infield next year. So you might as well cash him in. And there's a lot of trade talk about him on Twitter and stuff. So I guess he is really on the market. So if he really is on the market, I think the best spot for him is Chicago. Going to the Cubbies. I had them signing Belt, so Belt will be there as well. But Alonso and Belt.
That's what we need. Pete Alonso and Brandon Belt.
Yeah. DH
Really
and
put us
first
over
base.
the top.
Brandon better give his belt to Pete Alonso.
Nice, yeah.
Dude, Alonso hit 60 bombs in Wrigley, man. Be a Colt hero.
I got Polar Bear Pete heading west with Joe West to the San Francisco Giants.
Joe West.
San Francisco. That's a good pick. We're bound and determined to give San Francisco some help out there.
Yeah, need bats, need names, need people, need a guy to put butts in seats. I think Pete can do that.
He can hit it out of that park too. So
yeah. All right, let's wrap her up here.
Glasnow or Glasnow?
Glass, yes.
Tyler Glass, yes. Heavily rumored to be traded. From everything I've read, I mean, obviously I'm not watching a lot of Miami games, but from everything I read,
or Tampa,
phenomenally. Tampa,
yeah, if you watch Miami games, you won't see him. So
I think I was thinking of Sandy. Yeah, one of those Florida teams.
Is he going to Miami? Did you just spoil it again?
No, I didn't. I wish. I'm just an idiot. So apparently, like super talented, but not ever healthy. His healthiest year was his last year with like 20 something starts. I think the Cardinals are definitely going to get a guy through the trade routes, and this is the guy I have them picking up. It'll probably take, because his numbers show it too, but he is pretty talented. It'll probably take a decent package to get, but the injury risk will maybe keep it from being outrageous, and they'll take the chance. So I got him leaving Miami/Tampa Bay and coming up to St. Louis.
So we originally had Shane Bieber on here. I had Bieber going to the Cardinals, but when we switched to Glasnow, for some reason I didn't think that was the case, but it makes sense. But I got him going to the Dodgers. I had the Dodgers sign in Nola, but they're going to need more than just one guy. I think Tampa, their budget without his salary is still like $40 million more than it's ever been on opening day projected. So I think it won't take much to get him if somebody's willing to take all the money back. And the Dodgers will certainly be willing to do that.
I also have going to the Cardinals. I think this is a year, and I know the Rays never punt, but I think this is a year the Rays punt because they got 3 guys that had Tommy John surgery.
You said that about 6.5 months ago.
I know, but they got 3 guys that had Tommy John surgery, and just punt this year. So
a lot of money tied up into Wander Franco.
Well, so here is you trade Glasnow and Savali to the Cardinals for a package based on Mason Wynn. So package sent around Mason Wynn. You send 2 Major League ready starting pitchers to Cardinals.
Line.
Write it on the calendar. It's going to happen.
Bold.
That's me.
Well, I'm not writing that on my calendar because he is in fact going to the Cardinals. But man, I'm a Cardinals fan. I talk smack on this team all the time. So here we go. This is the perfect pitcher for the Cardinals to get. Right around 30. Your talent level and talk is here. Your production's about right here. If you can barely see it on the screen. Yeah. So that's gonna fill the seats with the talent. Be like, oh man, this guy's gonna come and be dominant, and then he's gonna get about You see where Beaker's at on my mic? There's the talent level right there. And that's what we're going to get out of him. And we're probably going to give up somebody who's going to go to Tampa Bay and just rake. That's what's going to happen. Probably an outfielder, probably someone like Randy Rosarina. But anyway,
Dylan Carlson's going over there and he's going to turn into
he's
MVP.
going to become an MVP. Correct. Yep. So that's my pick. St. Louis.
There it is.
Yeah.
The thumb bubbles back.
Right. We agreed too much in this. I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
what's
And we
cool
agree.
is we didn't talk about any of these beforehand.
No.
That's what's cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's
either
not
we're
ever do
really
this again.
smart together or really dumb together. We'll see how this
Probably
works
that
out.
one.
All right. Well, there you go, Rakers. That's our 5 hot trade topics to cover. You can join the debate and comment on the videos and all that fun stuff. Text us if you want. I'm sure I'll get a couple texts after this comes out about not saying anybody's going to the Cubs except for Alonso. Cubs fans are passionate. I don't know why.
Hey, who know the winter meetings is always the big
It's in
couple
December.
days
Yeah.
where stuff flies
Like
out.
the
Yeah, I
second
was
week
just
of December.
wondering. Second week of December.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We going?
Hey,
Is that in Tampa Bay or Miami?
It moves around. It's in. I forget where it's at this year.
It's somewhere over there.
Well,
I got an
better be
invite
warm.
in my email.
John Boy got
Yeah.
media credentials. We're probably pretty close to getting that, right?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, maybe to the Gateway Grizzlies.
All right.
All righty.
fun.
So check us out. Rake Your Position on the X and the Tube. And you can get on Etsy, search Rake Your Position for some merch. And don't forget to click the link in the description for JustGloves to get a little discount on that as well.
Are you a special someone in your life?
If you're buying
Or
a new piece
yourself.
of leather or just
Christmas is coming.
like
Yeah.
collection of gloves. Like
If you want to, no, I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
Our next episode is going to drop next week, and it's going to be a fun episode based off of best baseball movies of all time. So you don't want to miss that. We're going to rake 9 We're going to rake 9 apiece and give you our top 5 collectively. So look forward to that conversation. It'll be a lot of fun, and hope you guys join us with that too. Any other closing remarks?
Nope.
Nope.
All righty. Well, until
Let's just get
next
to the
time.
next one.
Until next time, don't forget to
Rake your
Rake
position.
Your
Rake your position.